maybe let me share that for many years I've been conducting holy name retreats in all different parts of the world. This is one of my convictions, that actually we have to make so much more effort to get on deeper levels of chanting in japa as well as in kirtan. Because our life is very fast, especially in the cities, full of distraction. And very often we take this chanting very lightly and very cheaply. And yeah, very externally, we just try to get the numbers done. And our joy comes from, oh, thank God I finished my rounds. And not really from chanting the holy name. Actually, there was this episode where Prabhupada kind of put his feet back down and said, so now I've finished my round, so now I can do any damn thing. You know, he was imitating us. Yes. Yeah, so this is a very common occurrence. And it's interesting to understand that any activity which we do very regularly, or any relationship we maintain on a very regular basis, very easily over-familiarity sneaks in. So over-familiarity means that we lose respect and we take things lightly and cheaply, and we actually forget what we are doing. This can even enter when we are on the altar every morning and we do the puja. Then this puja can also become mechanical, just some duty, which are quick, I have to get this done. So, and then I can go to the real important things of the day. Yeah, and we forget that we are actually personally worshipping the Lord, bathing Him, dressing Him, and so on. We forget, and it just becomes an external, mechanical, ritualistic duty. And yeah, even when we come together to worship Srila Prabhupada in the mornings, we offer flowers. Even that can become a very mechanical thing. Just 1, 2, 3, okay, flowers, dandavat, finished. But we are forgetting, you know, what we are doing. We don't even see Prabhupada sitting there. You know, we actually behave as if he is not there. And also in our relationships, let's say the marriage relationship is probably most prone to over-familiarity, because we know each other so well, we know each other's weaknesses, we see each other probably every day. So, and then again, we take each other lightly and cheaply. We say things to each other which we would never say to anybody else. But this is my husband, this is my wife, like that. And this over-familiarity leads, of course, to offenses. Yeah. So we commit some offense or offenses in our ignorance. Yes. So this unfortunately happens very commonly. And of course also in our practice of chanting, because hopefully we are chanting some amount of rounds every day. Let me see who is in the habit of chanting some amount of rounds on the beads every day. Lift your hand. Okay, quite a few people are not. Okay, but good that you're here. So maybe this session will inspire you to start this chanting. Yes, because our scriptures say that Krishna and the holy name, they're actually non-different. So we may have heard this all, But to actually realize this is not so easy. But it basically means that by chanting, we can get exactly the same benefit as meeting Krishna face to face. Wow, amazing. Direct association with Krishna himself. Yeah. So if we would announce that here on a Monday evening we can meet Krishna face to face, probably all the Hindus of whole Helsinki would be here, queuing up like on Janmashtami. Nobody would want to miss out on that. You know? Yeah, so this is this amazingly merciful thing that Krishna is doing, that he extends himself into the material world by giving us his holy name. Yeah. And let me ask you, why are we chanting? Why are we chanting? Any suggestions?
Because Prabhupada said that when we are chanting, we're going to be happy.
Okay, because Prabhupada said when we chant, we will be happy. Okay, any other suggestion? Why are we chanting? Yes?
For purification.
For purification. What else?
Protection from Maya.
Protection from Maya. It's all not wrong, but it also doesn't really get to the essence while we chant. Yeah.
Connect with Krishna.
Yes, to connect, to re-establish this lost and forgotten relationship with Krishna. That's why we chant. And the other things are just byproducts, basically. Yes. But we, as we know, we have a loving, eternal loving relationship with the Lord, and we have turned our back to Him for so many lifetimes. We have forgotten this relationship. So now by chanting his holy name, because the holy name and he himself are non-different. So by chanting the holy name, we reawaken, re-establish this lost and forgotten relationship. And interestingly, this practice on chanting on beads, we find in every religion. In Christianity, they have the rosary, Buddhists have beads, Muslims have beads, Hindus have beads, everybody has beads. Christians say, hallowed be thy name. So that understanding is there, that the Lord's holy name is holy. Yeah. Yes. And in all religions, there's one thing in common, that people don't do it anymore. Right? Which Christian is praying on the rosary? Well, very rare. Also Hindus, unless they're connected with Vaishnavism through ISKCON or Gaudiya Master, they also usually don't chant much anymore, maybe some old granny in the village. And Buddhists, Muslims, they don't chant anymore. So, and that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to reintroduce this chanting for everyone, actually, because everybody was doing it in their path. So that's why we chant, so we can reawaken the dormant, loving relationship, which we all have in the heart, actually. Yes, so, and as we said, chanting the holy name, not only in japa, also in kirtan, we directly associate with Krishna. But obviously, it very much depends on our mood, how we receive him, right? Yeah. So let us imagine we invite our Guru Maharaj to our home for lunch. And then when he comes, we turn our back to him. We have something more interesting and important to do. We are inattentive, disrespectful, not in a mood of service. So obviously, we can't even call this associating with Guru, right? Yeah. And probably we will not get much benefit from that kind of reception. And most likely we will get some reactions for an inappropriate reception. Right? So, and same thing is there when we chant the holy name. You know, some of you may know there are 10 offenses to chanting. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is listing them. And then he says, and there is also an 11th offense, which is what? What's the 11th offense? Yes.
Be inattentive.
Yes, to be inattentive while chanting. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this inattentiveness is the root cause for all other 10 offenses. This inattentiveness. In other words, that we don't receive Krishna in form of the holy name in an attentive way. So let us very briefly explore what is this inattentiveness. So inattentiveness happens on 3 levels. On the level of the body, on the level of the mind, and what's the third one? On the level of
Spirit.
no,
Ether.
no, body, mind, and
Word.
huh?
Word. Words.
On the level of the body, mind, and
Ego.
people know, yes, false ego is her favorite topic, so she will always be happy when she hears false ego. No, sorry, body, mind, and my goodness, no, you heard this already 10 times. No is no. Body, mind, and
Pronunciation.
body, mind, and huh? Heart, yes, finally. To see we are forgetting the heart. That's how disconnected we are from the heart level. My goodness. But bhakti is all about the heart. Yes. Bhakti is all about transforming the heart so that pure love for Krishna can develop there. Yes, body, mind, and heart. Yeah, heart. It took quite a while. Yeah, usually people say soul and intelligence. I hear this every time. But yes, body, mind, and heart. So in it, let's have a quick look at inattentiveness on the level of the body. Let's imagine we are chanting japa. So inattentiveness on the level of the body means, what does it mean?
Senses.
Huh?
Senses.
Senses. What does it mean?
I play football while chanting.
Well, doing something else while chanting. Playing football, I've never heard that variation. But yeah, maybe it's possible. Yes. Now, the mood is, let me maximize my time. So while I'm going, to the market shopping, let me just get rid of some of these rounds. Or while I'm driving to work, let me chant while driving. Thank God we have the counters now. So who of you is in the habit of chanting on a counter sometimes? Yes. The counter chanting is probably the most definite way to cultivate inattentive chanting. So if we can't chant on the beats, wrong time to chant. Because on the counter, we don't even have to finish one round. We can count with the left hand, right hand, dirty hand, doesn't matter. And then in the evening, we get the calculator out, divided by 108. Oh, I've chanted so many rounds. I mean, it's nonsense, actually. Yes. Yes. Yeah. No need. I know one guru, I won't say his name, he said, chanting on the counter is demoniac. Heavy, heavy. We shouldn't even sell them in the shops. Do you have the counters in the shop? Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Don't order them again, please. The shops should not even have them. You know? Yeah, it's nonsense. My goodness. Yes, it really is. So throw it in the bin when you come back home tonight.
I always break.
Oh, good.
Krishna, so don't do this.
I know one devotee, after about 10 years of chanting on the clicker, he realized that at a certain point, his clicker was jumping 500 numbers ahead. You know? So for so many years, he actually didn't even chant as many rounds as he thought. You know? Yes, no need, no need. Yeah, so that's the mood on inattentiveness on the level of the body, that we do something else while we chant. And we have this mood of maximizing our time, you know, getting the rounds done while doing something else. Even sitting in the class, we may quietly chant in that mood. Oh, I want to be at the class, but I've still got these rounds left. So, all right, let me hide in the back corner there or in the next room and chant, and then I get the rounds done, and I'm in the class too. You know, like that. Yeah. Or people watch their favorite movie or cricket or something while they're chanting. All kinds of nonsense goes on. You know? Or there's the mood, let me pass this boring japa time in a more pleasing way. You know, even going for walks. It very much depends how much our connection to Krishna is established. Of course, Prabhupada, he could go for walks and chant because he was firmly established in that reality of my relationship with Krishna. But if we are not so firmly established in that, we will get immediately distracted. Oh, look at the birds, and oh, the nice trees, and oh, the flowers, and oh, so beautiful. You know? And we pass this boring japa time in a more pleasing way by going for a jolly walk. You know? Yeah. So all this falls into the category of inattentive chanting. And what is the main and foremost distraction in these modern days? Mobile phone, exactly. That's why I don't have one. I travel the whole world without a phone. I don't want to invite this into my life. Of course, I have a laptop, but that sits at home. I don't carry that around with me. Yeah, see, people may think, oh, this is special mercy by Mahaprabhu. Then we have this finger here, you know, for Kali Yuga. So we can still scroll and type and send and do so many things there while I have my hand in the bead bag. You know, yes. Oh, I see it all the time, even in Mayapur and Prabhupada Samadhi, this is my favorite place to chant. People are sitting there with their phones, and their hand in the bead bag. My goodness. Yes. Yes. I mean, you can say these days, meditation is very common. Probably here also in Helsinki, you have so many yoga meditation places. And usually they're Mayavadis, but they take their meditation maybe much more seriously than we do. When they meditate, they lock the door, please don't disturb, I'm meditating, put the sign on the door. They play the Mayavadi meditation music and light the candle and they sit there and meditate. So what are we doing? And we call this meditation. It's actually a joke. It's really shameful. Yeah, so there's unlimited versions of inattentiveness on the level body, on the level of the body. Like two devotees meet, both have their hand in the bead bag, and they have a whole conversation. One person says something, the other person squeezes in a few mantras, then the other person answers, then he squeezes in a few mantras. Like that, it goes back and forwards. Very common thing. Yeah, so, I mean, the list is long. There's so many versions. So then inattentiveness on the level of the mind. So one main function of the mind is to make plans. So it means using the japa time for a plan making session, shopping list, or next preaching program, Sunday feast, cooking for the devotees, what am I going to cook, and my trip to India, of course, Kartik is coming soon, and so many plans. And often people say, whenever I chant, I get the best ideas. So they must come straight from Goloka Vrindavan. But no, sorry, it's inattentiveness on the level of the mind. And as we discussed in the false ego seminar, the false ego likes to use the mind as a tool to get the gratification it demands. So very often when we have all these issues going around in our head in circles, behind the mind is the false ego hiding. Yeah. So once we get some little idea how the false ego is harassing us, then we realize that the real source of trouble is the false ego very often, and not just the mind. The mind is just a tool in the false ego's hands. Yes, when we contemplate all kinds of issues and so this, it's usually the false ego behind it. So, but the most crucial inattentiveness is the inattentiveness on the level of the heart. So this is quite an interesting point, that actually in all kinds of services which we may be doing in Krishna consciousness, these three levels of attentiveness have to be there. We have to be attentive on the level of the body, not doing something else there with the phone and this and that. On the level of the mind, really focusing, being there, whatever it may be. And on the level of the heart, meaning, where's this coming from now? So in the attentiveness on the level of the heart means that the heart has to be involved, that we are trying our very best. We are endeavoring with great determination. We want to please the Lord and his devotees. There has to be some eagerness there. There cannot be any indifference there. Yeah. So then the heart is involved, and the activities we do in our spiritual life, they will only transform the heart if the heart is involved. Logical, right? Even hearing. So we can also be inattentive on the level of the body, doing so many things, playing around with the phone, and on the level of the mind, thinking about so many other things, planning. On the level of the heart, when there is no eagerness in the heart, when we're just sitting our time off here, okay, hopefully this will finish soon. So then the words only go in one ear and out the other ear. They bypass the heart. And such kind of hearing has very little effect on the heart. Yeah. That's why we have to be inquisitive, meaning we are keen, we are eager, we are greedy to catch something here. If we are having that kind of greediness in the heart, then something gets stuck in the heart. But if that's not there, and if we are proud, then it will not affect the heart at all. And same as there in chanting, the heart has to be involved. It really depends on the feeling which we chant. That's the main point. So Prabhupada gave us a nice analogy how we should chant. So who knows that analogy?
Crying.
Yes, crying like a child crying helplessly in desperation for his mother. That's how we should chant, with a certain intensity and helplessness, calling out to Krishna. Mainly from the heart, doesn't have to be externally so loud, but from within the heart there has to be some eagerness. But are we chanting like that? Are we? No, we don't. So why don't we? Any suggestions? Why don't we? Gives me some time to drink some water while you're thinking.
We are too serious.
What?
We are too serious about it.
We're not so serious. Yeah. So, but what else?
Or not desperate,
Yeah, why not?
because we think that everything is fine or something.
Yeah, very true. So, and what makes us think like that? Of the false ego. Now it was the right answer, exactly. Yes, the false ego makes us think, oh, everything is okay, no problem. Like I lived for a few years in Australia, so every second sentence people say there is no worries, mate. No worries, mate. No worries, mate. She'll be right, mate. So with a no worries, mate attitude, how can you feel hopeless? Yeah, we think we're pretty cool and I've got it all under control and my life is not so bad and I have my nice home and my family and my job and my nice car and everything is pretty good. So with that mood, difficult to call out in helplessness. There's actually one pretty heavy purport in the first canto where Prabhupada says, for a person who is situated in great material satisfaction, he cannot be so sincere. Wow, this is good to hear here in Finland. I'm sure most people here have Yeah, a fair bit of material satisfaction here, right? So material satisfaction is dangerous for spiritual life, because when we are situated in material satisfaction, how can we hopelessly call out to Krishna? Yeah. And then he even goes on in the same purport and he says, therefore the four principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and bodily beauty, they are, so to speak, disqualifications for cultivating bhakti. Wow. See, these four opulences, high education, good wealth, bodily beauty, high parentage. Yeah, we easily become proud. Yeah. Oh, I'm so wealthy, I'm so learned, professor, PhD. Then, yeah, difficult to call out in hopelessness. So that's why Krishna sends us sometimes some little earthquakes and calamities, just to help us feel helpless. Yeah, that's the essence of any calamity. It's Krishna behind it, trying to help us to feel helpless. Yes. Yeah, so helplessly crying out. This is what Prabhupada is asking us to do. Actually, our Gaur Govinda Maharaj, maybe some of you have heard of him, he used to say, an ISKCON temple is a crying school where we learn how to cry out to Krishna. So you've got a pretty good crying school here. So now we just have to use it to cry out to Krishna, right? Yes. Yeah, so exactly this I would like to try now with you. That we want to do a little japa exercise. So even if you did not bring your beads, it doesn't matter. You can just either count on your fingers or not count at all. Doesn't matter. No counter, please. And please don't get up and go home. Stay here. And don't go to your car to get your beads. It doesn't matter. It's running off. So let us all chant one round. Everyone in their own speed and rhythm, because everybody has a different speed and rhythm. So better if we all chant in our own rhythm. I have to warn you, I'm a slow chanter. I need 10 minutes for one round, so you probably finish before me, but I hope you let me finish too. So, and we will try exactly that now, that we deep from within the heart, we mindfully turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him, please Krishna, I know you're there, please accept me. We want to fill our chanting with longing for the relationship, because as we said, that is why we are chanting, to actually re-establish this lost and forgotten relationship. So we want to long for this relationship and mindfully turn to Krishna, because can we just...
We have extra beads.
We have extra beads. I don't want to make a whole commotion now, you know. Yes, it doesn't really matter, you know. Yeah, because as we mentioned, the chanting should reawaken the lost and forgotten relationship. So let me ask before we do the chanting exercise, what's the first step in developing any relationship? What's the first step?
Love.
No, that's the end, not the first step.
To meet.
submit.
Surrender.
No, even before that.
Getting to know the person.
Yeah, even before that.
Hearing.
Huh?
Hearing.
Meeting.
Be attentive.
Well, being mindful of his presence, right? Yes. We have to be mindful of there is a person there in my life, right? Yeah. Even in our daily life, family life, people often just ignore each other. You know, everybody in the evening sits there with their mobile phones. People don't even talk to each other anymore. You know, yes, it's all happening, very impersonal. Yeah, yeah. So first step is to understand, oh, there is a person next to me who's got some needs and desires and feelings and wants my attention. How can a relationship develop if we don't even give attention to each other? Right? Yes. So giving attention to a person is the first step in developing any relationship. And not only that, then there has to be some endeavor. We have to make a conscious endeavor. You know, no relationship just happens automatically, develops automatically just by a time going by or something. No, we have to make a conscious endeavor. And the first step is to be attentive towards that person, mindful of his presence. So with Krishna, same thing. We have to make ongoingly an endeavor, and we do this when we chant, because during the day we are so busy. Of course, we can also remember Krishna, but we, you know, in our services, we have to focus on the job, you know. But when we chant, that's when this is my time with Krishna. Yeah. So first step is that we are turning to him mindfully, appealing to him feelingly. Krishna, I know you're there, please accept me, because who are we to think that Krishna so easily accepts us? You know, there has to be some longing there. Rupa Goswami says, Lolyam, greed for Krishna, is the main and foremost quality, and we have to cultivate bhakti. There's to be some eagerness, some greed there. So, and we express that when we chant. Yeah. So, yes. Now, let us do our little chanting exercise. One round, turning to Krishna, feelingly Karate. And the eyes, since they are the most distracting sense perception, it's helpful to close the eyes. Then we can concentrate more on hearing the sound, right? Because holy name, we give attention through the ear, not through the eyes. Usually we give attention through the eyes, or look at this, look at that. But holy name through the ear. So if we like, and we often do this already intuitively, that we close our eyes, you know, in chanting japa or in kirtan, and then we can concentrate more internally. We are not so distracted, you know, like that. Okay, one round. Everybody in there and with me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Shri Krishna, 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 Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Hare Rama, Shri Krishna, Hare Rama, Shri Krishna, Hare Rama, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Hare Rama, 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Shani, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Krishna Krishna Rama Krishna Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Shani Krishna Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Shani Krishna Rama Shani Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Krishna Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Rama Krishna Krishna Rama Shani Krishna Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Krishna Rama Shani Krishna 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 Rama Krishna Gaura Premanandi. Hari Bol. So, how did you go in your chanting exercise? Did you think it was easy?
Stages.
Well, most people say no, it was not easy at all. You know, yes, because we have been in the habit of ignoring Krishna for so many lifetimes. So just joining ISKCON and putting tilak on our forehead doesn't mean that we put an end to this ignoring of Krishna. You know? Yes. In fact, we can almost spend our whole Krishna consciousness. Now we finished. There's still somebody chanting. Haribo. Oh, it's enough now. We can spend our whole so-called Krishna consciousness cutting Krishna completely out of the picture. This is happening in quite a few people's lives, you know, that we are so busy with so many ambitions and plans and projects and ideas and you know, and then in chanting we are also planning all our ambitions and projects. So, hey, what are we doing for our relationship with Krishna? Nothing, you know. We completely cut him out of the picture. Yes. In so-called Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Easily happens. So, and it's at the moment when we chant, that's when we do something for this relationship. Right? Yes. Yeah, not so easy. It requires a whole paradigm shift, you know, because for so many lifetimes we have just ignored him. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, so, and I'm sure we all have heard of His Holiness Satyananda Swami. He came up with a nice analogy. It is based on the book Harinam Chintamani by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that when we chant without mindfully turning to Krishna, this is actually not the real thing. We are not even chanting the holy name. It is simply a reflection, a shadow of the holy name. So let us imagine, yesterday was the Sunday program. So on next Sunday is Radhastami, probably a nice feast. So you imagine I give you a reflection of a plate of prasadam. So would that be very satisfying to your stomach? Probably not. So same thing there, reflection of the holy name. Not satisfying to the soul. Yeah. So, and Satyananda Swami, based on this statement, he came up with this analogy that he said, when we chant without mindfully turning to Krishna and feelingly call out to him, this is like taking an empty medicine capsule. Yes, not tablet, but capsule, vegan one, without gelatin. So capsule you can open and there's usually some medicine inside, but it can also be empty. Yeah, and that means no medicine inside, that means no effect. And this is really what this kind of chanting is. When we just blabber the mantra down, we can't even call this chanting the holy name, because as we said, Krishna and the holy name are not different. And chanting the holy name means having Krishna's association. But if we are not even mindful that it is there, then we are not having his association. So therefore we can't even call it chanting, actually. Yeah. And on the absolute platform of developing our relationship with Krishna, this chanting, this empty capsule chanting, actually has no effect on that absolute platform. It may have some effects in a sense that it may give us some material opulence, or it may relieve us from the effects, reactions to sinful activities, But I mean, I hope we are all striving here for bhakti. We're not interested in material opulence or being freed from reactions to sinful activities. No, we want bhakti. Bhakti means relationship, loving relationship with Krishna. So on that platform, zero effect. Good to know, right? Yeah, we can waste so much time in our Krishna consciousness if we don't know these things. Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, I have to say about myself, probably the first 20 years of my 40 years in Krishna consciousness was empty capsule guaranteed. I never even heard anything about these things. Nobody was talking about that 40 years ago. And the emphasis is always on how many rounds, but nobody ever asks, oh, what kind of capsules are you chanting or taking? Empty capsules, full capsules. Nobody asks that, yeah. Yeah, so that's why I like to discuss these points and like to conduct holy name retreats, hoping that this can save you valuable time. I remember once we had a holy name retreat just outside of Bangalore in India. And there was quite a few senior devotees there. And when we discussed this empty capsule topic, they actually got a little angry. Yes, they were saying, what is this? Only now I hear about this. After 30 years of practicing Krishna consciousness, why didn't anybody tell me this earlier? They were truly upset. Yeah, I had to really try and pacify them and said, well, better late than never. And we spent so many lifetimes in this material world and didn't hear it, so all right, a few years later. Yeah, but they felt cheated, actually. That's what they said. Yes. Yeah, so and I've had quite a few holy name retreats where people at the sharing session say, even Prabhupada disciples, oh, now I realize I haven't even started chanting the holy name yet. I've been doing something else for the last 45 years, such kind of feedbacks we had, yes. Yeah, so this is a pretty serious topic. We have to put an end to this empty capsule, just wandering around this, around, Yeah, because if we don't know this, we can easily lose faith in the process of chanting. We think, oh, well, I've been chanting for 30 years and I can't feel any difference in my life. It's not doing anything for me. So it doesn't work for me. Sometimes people say this. Well, they haven't heard about the empty capsule. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a serious thing. And of course, empty capsules also there in kirtan too. If the kirtan leader is not turning to Krishna, feelingly calling out in helplessness, in desperation, Krishna, please accept me, longing for the relationship, as we discussed yesterday in the Sunday Feast program, consciousness travels on sound vibration. So the consciousness of the kirtan leader, when he feelingly calls out in love and devotion, so that travels on the sound vibration coming out of his mouth. And that affects each and every person's heart in the audience. That's the mystical thing of kirtan. But if this is not there, then it's not more than some nice music. But only nice music, not more than that. Yeah. Yeah, so very serious matter. And Satchidananda Swami even explains there's not only an empty capsule, but there's also a poisonous capsule available too. If you want to find out about that, you have to read the False Ego book. It's all in there. We don't have time for that. Yeah, so let me share one more thing before we ask for questions. Because the mind likes to wander, and we may find it a little difficult to just only turn to Krishna. We can give the mind a little bit of a playground to move around. And we can approach different personalities feelingly, helplessly. Good way to start is with Lord Nrsingadev.
Yeah.
Asking him to free us from our Hiranyakashipus. We talked about it when we just discussed envy. You know? Because that's Lord Nrsingadev's function. He prepares our heart so that we can approach Radha Krishna. So good to start with him every day when we chant. That we spend a little bit of time addressing Lord Nrsingadev, feelingly calling out to him, please, I'm tired of this false ego envy in my heart. Please free me from this. You know? And then we can go to Prabhupada. On Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja day, I was sharing these nice stories when Prabhupada was chanting, calling out, right? At Advaita house and outside Rupa Goswami's Samadhi in the Radha Damodar courtyard. So we can beg him to please guide us, to bless us, to give us his mercy, and longing to just capture one drop of what he carries in his heart. Right? And then we can go to our guru or our favorite sadhu, and we spend some time there calling out to him and begging there for mercy and guidance, begging to capture one drop of what they carry in their heart. So, and then we can go to Krishna and approach him. To Radharani, Sunday we have her appearance. Radharani is actually our real guru. She trains us how to please Krishna. Nobody knows better than her how to sacrifice ourselves in love for Krishna and please him. So, and it says, if she recommends us to Krishna, then Krishna will accept, no matter how foolish we may be. That's what it says in the Shastra. So that gives hope to us all, even if we are fool number one. But if we somehow can capture Radharani's mercy, and she will recommend us, Krishna will accept. So yeah, so we can beg her, for mercy and blessings, longing to assist her one day. And so yeah, we can allow our mind to wander a little bit, but in this certain frame, yeah, like that. Okay, so now let us see if we have any questions. Yes, we'll start with you.
Yes, thank you. I talked once with a Muslim, and he was saying that like he doesn't believe in this like chanting too much the name of God, like because it's the similar than like if you would go to someone's house and you would say like Alex, like hello Alex, Alex, hello, hello, Alex, hello, then that person would get like irritated. Like, yeah, I heard you. Like, okay, what do you want? So the similar, like with God, like we're chanting God's name so much that it's like he has the attention, and now we should like pray instead of like chanting the name. I didn't really know how to answer or like to respond.
Well, but the Muslims, they're chanting, you know.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and also so many times a day the namaz prayers I hear when I'm in Bangladesh. Actually, I quite like it, you know. Yes. Yeah, they're feelingly called out, you know.
Maybe he's
Yeah, I mean, see, Krishna is extremely happy, you know, when he hears us chant. Oh, finally, they're turning towards me. You know, yes. So, yeah, he may think that, but this is his mundane vision of things, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, in the material world, people may get annoyed. But even in the material world, people like to hear their name mentioned. You know, when somebody mentions the name, oh, what are they saying? You know, okay, oh, they're talking about me. You know, and I mean, the analogy of the mother with a child is pretty, pretty deep and profound, actually. And there also a mother. If the child cries in desperation, the mother drops everything and runs there. But if the child just, oh, mama, I need your help. Oh, mama. You know, then this is not serious. Then the mother will not go there. You know, she knows, oh, child will soon stop. No, we'll need to run there. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much for the lecture. I'm just wondering about this placebo effect, because I mean, it's scientifically proved that the placebo works that the medicine is the patient doesn't know that it's an empty capsules or not.
See, the placebo effect is there in medicine because 40 or 50% of any Hare Krishna, no discussions here, please. If you want to discuss, then outside. Yeah, so in medicine, any healing process comes about 45% comes from that hopeful attitude. I'm going to get healthy again. So that's why, you know, the placebo effect is there. But in chanting, this effect is not there. No. Now we have to chant the holy name properly. And if it's not mindfully chanted, that we turn to Krishna. I mean, it's actually very logical and simple. You know, if we actually try every day for at least 2 hours to mindfully turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him, even if we can't do it for all the rounds, but at least we try, something will happen in the relationship with Krishna. Obviously, you know, it will become more tangible reality. It's very simple. But if we're just blabbering something and we don't turn to Krishna, nothing will happen in the relationship. It's actually so simple and common sense, you know.
So if I can continue with the question, it's like, I mean, yeah, in Swedish, hope means tillite. So it's like from the both sides is the same. So I mean, it's like somebody. I mean, I'm just because you also compare the chanting to meditation. I mean, the Buddhists, they don't think about nothing when they are meditating. I mean, of course, they connect with the love and compassion, but.
So there's all kinds of meditation techniques. As I mentioned, most meditation techniques are impersonal. You try to simply make your mind empty, but in Krishna consciousness, it's a personal meditation. And we try to turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him. You know? So like that. So, well, that's all I can say. This is what Prabhupada says. We have to cry out to Krishna like the child feeling he cries for his mother. And it is only common sense, as I'm saying. If we actually try this, then something will happen in this relationship. It will actually become reality more and more. We can actually say Krishna consciousness is meant to bring about a whole transformation of the perception, what reality is, right? So in the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, we may call this crazy circus of the material world reality. Prabhupada calls it a nonsensical stage performance. We think that is reality. And Krishna is pretty far away and all right, maybe he exists, maybe not. But we are not really, we are not really established in that reality of Krishna and my relationship with him. So, and then as we practice, as we chant, and if we chant deeply, not empty capsule, then Krishna and my relationship will become more and more reality until we are actually firmly established in that reality. And all right, as long as I have a material body, I have to somehow function in this world and go along with the crazy game here. But actual reality is my relationship with Krishna. And that is the only thing we are allowed to keep at the moment of death. Yeah. Because everything now which we think is so important to us, at the moment of death, no significance whatsoever. Curtain closes, crazy show is over. The only thing we are allowed to keep is my relationship with Krishna, because that's actually eternal reality.
But in that case, there is no difference between Krishna. In that case, there is no difference between Krishna or what the Muslims are doing or Christians, because they all are praying.
Well, there are differences because they don't follow the four regulative principles, so there's big differences there. Muslims, they're killing cows, so obviously there's big differences. Anything else about chanting? Yes.
How much important is the time of the day of chanting?
The time of the day? Well, I mean, as we all know, Bhaktisiddhanta said early morning we should beat the mind with a shoe before the mind gets up. So obviously, the earlier we chant in the morning, the less, restlessness and impressions are there already, So that's why Prabhupada established the japa time after Mangalati. Actually, Mangalati is like the preparation for chanting, Yeah. So that's all over the world. We have that time reserved of the day. So, but we also have to see, some people are very busy in the early morning hours, like a mother with 5 children. So the mornings are the busy time when she cooks and gets the kids ready for going to school and. So best is to chant early in the morning. If this for some reason is not possible, or we may have some shifts, which include the early morning hours in our work or whatever. So then the next best is to be regulated in our chanting and reserve a certain time of the day for chanting and only chanting and nothing else. So for the mother with 5 kids, it may be 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning when everybody's out, gone to school, her husband is to work. So, now I can relax. So, and then she has her chanting time reserved. Best every day the same time. Regulation is very important. Prabhupada's schedule was, when he was a grihasta, he was chanting 4 rounds early in the morning, 4 before breakfast, 4 before lunch, 4 before dinner. And he was saying, if you don't eat before you chant your rounds, if you don't chant your rounds before you eat, you will chant. No, hang on. if you don't eat, unless you've chanted your rounds, you will chant, because you know you're not going to get anything to eat, right? Yeah, so that's an individual thing, you know, how we have to look at our daily schedule, but the early morning hours are always the best. And that we see in all spiritual practices, you know, even the monks and the Christian monks and Muslims, they also have their early morning sadhana, you know, yeah. Yeah, then we can say there's also two very practical questions we can ask ourselves to get some idea about our chanting. First question is, when did I chant my 16th round? Was it 11 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the evening? So that gives some indication, because whatever is important to us, we don't leave to the late evening. Yeah, but it's important first priority, so we do it in the mornings as far as possible. And the second question is, how many rounds did I chant without interruption in one go? Was it one round here, half a round there, one round here? Or was it 10 rounds in one go and then maybe 3 and 3 or whatever? So that gives also some clue about our chanting habits, even though, of course, it can still be all empty capsule. But yes. Yeah, and I mean, as I mentioned in the Fourth Ego book, there's a whole chapter on chanting. So there I'm giving all different lifestyle changes we have to accept in our life in order to really make the chanting the main important thing, because chanting the holy name means a certain lifestyle we have to accept. A lifestyle which is really centered around chanting. Yeah. And I'm giving so many things there. All right, yeah.
Sometimes we are missing chanting together, because I personally very rarely get here to the Java time. So that was really nice. I really liked, and I like this that we did it on our own speed, not like sometimes we have doing this in unison.
Yeah, I don't like this unison
It's really nice.
chanting.
It could be, I don't know. Sometimes if there is a chance, you know, sometimes I have a friend visiting me and we chant together, or
Yeah.
I happen to be here when somebody's chanting. I think it's really nice, especially if you chant it, because for me, I can know whatever time it is, it's easier to chant when there is somebody else with you.
Yeah.
Like kind of you concentrate, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of more easier just setting the scene.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's why Prabhupada established the japa time, you know, so often devotees come just for half an hour in the mornings if they can't attend the whole morning program. So in many temples around the world, people just come for half an hour, 1 hour to the temple, chant, and then go to work or whatever. You know. Definitely. Or now with social media, sometimes people have some WhatsApp groups with friends where they meet at 6 o'clock and they chant together or something. So, all right, I personally am not such a social media fan, you know, living without a phone. But it's better than nothing, you know, and if whatever helps us, you know, there is also room for individuality. So whatever helps us to really mindfully turn to Krishna and feeling the call out, that is good, you know, whatever is encouraging us in that way. You know. Also looking at a favorite picture of deities or painting or something can also be helpful. But again, it's a very subtle thing. If we just browse around there on internet, the darshan in Mayapur and Vrindavan here, there, you know, then again, it's passing the boring japa time in a more entertaining way. So rather than concentrating on one picture and really prayerfully trying to connect and call out. You know. So it's rather subtle. You know. Yes, Prabhu.
I have comment that one time I tested, I was chanting 108 rounds. And it happened that I stopped chanting, but my mind continued chanting. It was really
Yeah, I mean, we can even have that experience also when we have a nice kirtan in the late evenings, you know, some kirtan mela or something. And then sometimes that same tune stays with us for the whole night. And it's the first thing we remember when we wake up in the morning, and it can even enter the dreams, you know. So, yeah, that's like that. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. I want this little different opinions that some devotees have it, whether it's okay or not to have Srila Prabhupada's the track of japa or one spiritual master's japa track while chanting. Is that okay or not okay?
Well, see, it's not black and white. Krishna consciousness is not black and white, right and wrong. Yes, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You know, so whatever encourages us to chant feelingly, calling out, you know, for some people it may be helpful, for some people it may be distracting, especially if it's too loud. So there is room for individuality, you know, it's not black and white. The principle is to turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him. So whatever helps us to do that is good. Yeah. But it's a pretty common thing, you know, that we have the Prabhupada chanting tape. I personally am not so fond of this box, you know, because it's, for me, it's actually not Prabhupada chanting, it's just one mantra taken, and that repeats itself again and again and again. And it's so mechanical, I actually can't tolerate it. Yes, but if we play the real Prabhupada chanting where he says, sit properly, you know, so that's how Prabhupada was chanting, not this one mantra, ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, it drives me nuts, you know, yes. Most people don't even realize this, you know, yes. But for me, yeah, not so inspiring. Yes.
About how long the round lasts. Like I have one friend, sometimes she visits me like overnight. And once we were chatting, and I thought I was contemplating, but she almost did 2 rounds when I did 1 round. And she said that she's very quick. And another person without mentioning names, she's my old bit on the same time. She's not even here, but she visits sometimes. And it was the daytime, we were both chanting in this temple room. And I could hear that she didn't chant very fast, you know, she didn't pronounce her mantra like really quickly, you know, like sometimes she was like, you know, like maybe like you would repeat. But she finished her, I felt that I kind of heard that I did it more quickly, the pronunciation. I'm not very quick, you know, but she finished her round earlier than me, like she's in the secret or something. I didn't ask her, but I mean, I know myself, sometimes when I'm not concentrated, if I space out in mind, then I forget to handle the beats. You know, I say the mantra, but I don't go forward. Because sometimes,
Yes.
why did it take 30 minutes this round, you know? Also, I chant it all the time, you know? But then when I'm not spaced out, I do it more quickly, naturally, you know?
Yes,
But we don't usually talk about this, you know? We don't like, you know, I don't know if it's something like this, you know?
yeah, I mean, again, of course, there's the 2 factors. We have to pronounce things properly and not swallow half the mantra. And we also have to move the beads at the right time, not too fast. Sometimes people move, you know, 2 beads in 1 mantra, or they chant 2 mantras on 1 bead. So that means we're not attentive, you know. And I mean, speaking for myself, when I started chanting, I took 6 or 7 minutes for 1 round. But sometimes people were saying to me, oh, I think you're missing a hurry or something, you know. So, and now after so many holy name retreats, for me, if you want to put a bit of feeling into the Maha Mantra, then you can't just, just machine gun chanting there, just rattling down. I just can't do it any more faster than 10 minutes, But it's an individual thing, so whatever it takes, to chant properly, As Mahaprabhu says, there are no hard and fast rules. Last question.
So, about these rounds, somebody from this temple told me that we shouldn't go over the rounds, we should come back every round,
Yeah, that's usually what we do, that at the Krishna beat we turn around. And actually, by the way, but it's also not such an important thing, but Prabhupada did not introduce the Panchatattva mantra after each round. The Sangha came in later. Yes, and I know a few Prabhupada disciples who are a little annoyed about this. Oh, what are we trying to introduce or something new? Prabhupada didn't say this. They're a little worked up about it. Of course, we can say, oh, well, what's the harm? What's the harm? But for them, it's more the principle that we are introducing something new. And when you listen to Prabhupada chanting, he doesn't say Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Yeah, he simply turns around and chants backwards, on the beats, the other way around. So, but anyway, for 40 years I've been chanting Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, so I'll stick to this now. I don't feel like changing my habits again. All right, so we'll leave it at that. So one more time, thank you so much for the wonderful visit here in Helsinki. I enjoyed my stay, and as I mentioned yesterday, you have a very nice facility here, a very good crying school. So now let's cultivate the crying out for Krishna. And if you really want to have a nice experience, then please come to Ego Chakradam over Christmas, 24th to 28th of December. That's where I conduct a holy name retreat in Lord Nityananda's birthplace. It's a very nice experience. 4 nights in Ego Chakra, that in itself is pretty good. Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sadhu Veda Bhaktan ki. Go. And if there's still somebody who did not get the books they want to get, so tonight is really your very last chance, because this is the last program. Okay, thank you.
Praise Devaki Mataji ki. Thank you very much, Mataji. It has been wonderful.